Some of you may be wondering, in fact the Prime Minister himself may be wondering, why a Commonwealth Royal Commission is required as opposed to the State Royal Commission that the Premier Minns is considering. The issues that we have experienced in this country since the 7th of October 2023 are multidimensional and multi-jurisdictional. It is totally inappropriate and insufficient to simply have a State Royal Commission which would effectively have its hands tied in dealing with state matters. We know that there are likely to be have identified many failings as a result of what happened at Bondi, not the least of which certainly cross jurisdictions of our states and territories and our Commonwealth. It is imperative that a Commonwealth Royal Commission be held in relation to not just what happened at Bondi, not just the terrorist attacks at Bondi, but also the anti-Semitism that has been effectively left unchecked since the 7th of October 2023. Only a Commonwealth Royal Commission can effectively deal with all of these issues. The Commonwealth Royal Commission will, if, as Susan has said, if the Prime Minister is willing to sit down with Susan and nut out what we have put on the table is a draft terms of reference. Now, that may be subject to change. We're happy to look at even additional further things that the Prime Minister might want in there. But it's very important that we at least look at the detailed terms of reference which we have now provided. We think it should be sat on by a composition of at least 3 commissioners. One who is from the Jewish community and who has significant experience in matters dealing with anti-Semitism. The second member should have significant law enforcement, intelligence agency experience. And the third member who should lead the commission should be a current or former Superior Court judge with experience in any one of those particular issues. What's very important is that we need to get direction from the Royal Commission, and we think that an interim report or interim recommendations should be handed down at the very least no later than the 23rd of June 2026. That would give the Commission 6 months to provide its initial recommendations. Now, as to the terms of reference, they can effectively be broken up into these areas. Certainly, it would be looking into the rise of anti-Semitism in this country. It would look at things such as online, the media, arts, cultural and education sectors that led to the Bondi attack. It would look at the conduct of ministers, departments across all levels of government with respect to responding to the rise of anti-Semitism and the Bondi terrorist attack. It would examine the roles of radical Islam, far left and far right neo-Nazi extremism, as would it look at anti-Israel and anti-Zionist attitudes into elevating anti-Semitic environment in Australia. The Commission would examine whether the Commonwealth and state law enforcement and intelligence agencies cooperated sufficiently together. That is just one of the reasons why it's so incredibly important that a Commonwealth Royal Commission be held. If this were just to be a State Royal Commission, then that State Royal Commission would not have the powers to be able to call people from our intelligence agencies and our Commonwealth government departments and indeed ministers of the Crown at a federal level. One of the major issues that it must look into is radical Islamic extremism and how the Commonwealth, state and territory governments and agencies have addressed or failed to address that issue. It must look into immigration and how people are given visas, how they are given citizenship, and importantly, how people are entitled to review the decisions made by the Commonwealth Government. It should also look into the appropriateness of how visas and citizenship are given in relation to fit and proper person test, as to their conduct and how they have communicated any anti-Semitic views, for example. I'll leave the education, arts and cultural sector in more detail to my friend Julian Lisa, but this is an issue that is very important that will be looked or should be looked into as part of the Royal Commission terms. It will also look into the legal framework of state and territory and Commonwealth governments and the various law enforcement, the laws that we have in place across the country. It should look at the adequacy of offences and powers relating to advocating of terrorism, incitement, recruitment, terror financing, extremist material, and importantly, preparatory acts. It will look at whether existing hate speech, vilification and incitement laws are adequate to prevent and respond to anti-Semitism, including laws concerning hate symbols and those of listed terrorist groups. It is utterly unacceptable after what has happened, not just at Bondi. The Australian Jewish community has been telling this government that they feel unsafe. They have been telling this government that it has to act to protect them. And it is utterly unacceptable that this government continues to delay in its response in a meaningful way. And under, Susan, your leadership, the putting together of these terms of reference will go some way to ensuring that the right questions are asked and we will get to the bottom and the right answers are provided.